The first transmission arrived on a Tuesday morning, crackling through every radio frequency on Earth simultaneously. Admiral Ross stood in the command center of the Pacific Fleet, watching technicians scramble to decode the alien message, while his coffee grew cold in his hands. "Admiral, we have a translation," Lieutenant Garcia announced, her voice tight with disbelief. "They're requesting permission to demonstrate their technological superiority. They want to impress us." Ross raised an eyebrow. "Impress us?" The alien vessel appeared 3 days later, emerging from the asteroid belt like a gleaming silver needle. It was massive, easily dwarfing Earth's largest aircraft carriers, and it moved with impossible grace through the void. Captain Blake, commanding the destroyer Valiant, was among the first to observe it through military telescopes. "It's beautiful," Blake whispered to his first officer. "Look at those curves, that perfect symmetry. Our ships look like floating scrap metal compared to that." The aliens, who called themselves the Keth, arranged a demonstration above Earth's atmosphere. Their ambassador, a tall being with luminescent skin, spoke through advanced translation devices to the assembled world leaders. "We have traveled the galaxy for millennia," the ambassador proclaimed, his voice carrying an unmistakable note of pride. "We have witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Today, we shall show you wonders that will expand your understanding of what is possible." The display began with their ship reshaping itself, flowing like liquid mercury from a needle into a perfect sphere, then into a complex geometric pattern that hurt human eyes to look upon directly. Energy cascaded across its hull in impossible colors, and miniature stars bloomed and died in controlled fusion reactions around its perimeter. President Miller watched from the White House Situation Room, alongside military advisors and scientists. The demonstration was indeed impressive, almost hypnotic in its alien beauty. The Keth ship created gravitational lenses that bent light into fantastic displays, synthesized new elements in real time, and projected holographic images that seemed more real than reality itself. "Magnificent," breathed Dr. Thompson, the chief science advisor. "They're casually manipulating fundamental forces like we manipulate clay." But Admiral Ross remained silent, his weathered face creased in thought. Something about the aliens' demeanor bothered him. The way they preened and postured, expecting awe and submission from humanity. He had seen that attitude before, in junior officers who confused flashy technology with actual combat effectiveness. The Keth ambassador concluded the demonstration with a flourish, his ship transforming into a crystalline structure that sang with harmonic frequencies. "We trust this display has adequately demonstrated our capabilities," he announced. "We look forward to welcoming Earth into our galactic confederation as a junior member species." The phrase junior member hung in the air like a challenge. That evening, Ross convened a private meeting with his most trusted captains. Captain Blake attended via secure video link from the Valiant, along with Captain Reed from the battleship Montana and Captain Davis from the carrier Enterprise. "They're advanced," Ross admitted, "but they're also arrogant. Did anyone else notice they showed us their entertainment systems, not their weapons?" Captain Reed leaned forward. "You think they're bluffing about their military capabilities?" "I think they've never faced a species that fights back," Ross replied grimly. "Their whole approach screams, 'We've always been the biggest fish in the pond.'" The situation escalated when the Keth delivered an ultimatum. Earth would surrender its sovereignty and accept protectorate status, or face the consequences of defying a superior civilization. They gave humanity 72 hours to decide. President Miller's response was swift and decisive. "Admiral Ross, I'm authorizing Operation Defiant Stand. Show them what human ingenuity looks like when it's backed into a corner." The Pacific Fleet moved into position under cover of darkness. The Montana, Enterprise, and Valiant formed the spearhead of humanity's response supported by submarines and support vessels. The Keth ship hung in space above them, its crystalline form pulsing with confident energy. When the deadline arrived, Ambassador Keth appeared on all global communication networks. Your silence is disappointing but predictable. Observe now the folly of defying the Keth Confederation. The alien ship began to descend, its form shifting into something more aggressive, bristling with energy projectors and gravitational manipulators. But as it entered Earth's atmosphere, Captain Reed gave the order that changed everything. All batteries, fire. The Montana's 16-inch guns roared to life, sending armor-piercing shells screaming through the air at nearly 3 times the speed of sound. The Keth ship, designed for space combat and intimidation displays, had no defense against primitive kinetic projectiles delivered with surgical precision. The first shell punched through the aliens' energy, shields like they were tissue paper. The second cracked their hull. By the time the Enterprise's fighters joined the attack with anti-ship missiles, the Keth vessel was already listing badly. Impossible, the ambassador's voice crackled through damaged communication systems. Your weapons are primitive. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Captain Blake's response came through the radio, calm and professional. Maybe so, but our primitive weapons were designed by people who've been fighting each other for thousands of years. You made pretty lights. We made tools for killing. The alien ship crashed into the Pacific Ocean 3 hours later. The Keth ambassador survived, along with most of his crew, and found himself facing Admiral Ross on the deck of the Montana. "We underestimated you," the ambassador admitted, his luminescent skin flickering weakly. "Your species approaches warfare with a creativity we had not encountered." Ross studied the alien with steady eyes. "We didn't want to fight you. You could have been our friends, our teachers. Instead, you tried to make us your pets." The aftermath saw the beginning of a very different relationship between humanity and the Keth Confederation. The aliens, humbled by their defeat, approached Earth with genuine respect rather than condescension. They offered real partnership instead of servitude, and humanity proved surprisingly generous in victory. But across the galaxy, word spread quickly. The humans were not to be underestimated. They might lack advanced technology, but they possessed something far more dangerous: the hard-won wisdom of a species that had learned to turn necessity into innovation and desperation into victory. The Keth had come to amaze humanity with their wonders. Instead, they learned that sometimes the most impressive display of power is knowing exactly when and how to use it.